Hello and welcome back to tutorial History Year 4, Unit 2, Roman Britain, and this is video part 2. This video will walk you through the following areas: how to adapt activities and lessons, how to plan for the inquiry question, and key moments in the unit to look out for. Adapting activities can be easily done by using the ebook workbook and the snipping tool to paste the activity onto a Word or Publisher document and edit it. From there, you can print it and stick the adapted activity into your exercise book or directly over the workbook original activity. You may be familiar with the snip tool, but it can be found by searching in the search bar or simultaneously pressing Windows, Shift and S. Drag your mouse to highlight the area you want to copy, and that selection of your screen can be copied onto your clipboard and then onto your Word or Publisher document. In Lesson 1, pupils need to read text and answer questions based on that text. To support pupils, you could highlight the keywords in the text, highlight the keywords in the questions, give multiple choice answer options for pupils to read through and select, and stretch pupils by asking pupils to answer more challenging questions from that lesson's learning, such as, Beachy Head Lady died from an illness. Is this statement true or false? In Lesson 2, pupils need to read another text about a Roman town and match the key terms to the definitions. Support pupils by highlighting the keywords again in the text. You would highlight the keywords in the activity to match the key info in the text by colour. You could partially complete the activity as a model and to allow pupils more time to be successful. Stretch pupils by asking them more challenging questions such as, which part of the town do you think was most important and why? This unit is designed as a depth study into Roman Britain itself. It fulfills the national curriculum requirement of a local history study in the form of a depth study into one of the areas of British history outlined in the national curriculum. Lesson 3 is where this study will take place. In advance of the lesson, you will need to select your closest Roman site for pupils to study. This website link can help you. We have created the start of the lesson as a model to focus on Caerwent in Wales. However, you may wish to take the in-depth study a step further and replace these activities with examples from your local site. There is also an additional resource that pupils can use to organise their study of their local Roman site. This is a priority for the unit, so please make sure that you do not miss out your local history Roman site study. Here's an example of the workbook activity in Lesson 3 based on Caerwent. Support pupils by using the answer slides to create labels of the key information for pupils to sort through and stick in. And this could be done for this model, or it could be done for your local history study. Stretch pupils by asking them to answer challenging questions such as, what has the evidence and artefacts from Caerwent told you about the people who lived there? Again, you could swap Caerwent for your local Roman site. Lesson 4, pupils read a text and then use this information to populate the table. Support pupils by adding the images from the key to support pupils' understanding. Add an example answer as a model for pupils. And stretch pupils by asking pupils to answer challenging questions such as, which product do you think people wanted the most? How do you know? In Lesson 5, pupils need to answer a right question and then do some research on the Roman gods. Support pupils by using the answer slides to create answer pupils to sort and stick in. Print off research pupils to use on the Greek gods. Reduce the number of gods pupils need to research. Stretch pupils by asking challenging questions such as, which Greek god do you think seems most powerful and why? An activity from Lesson 6 investigates how we use Latin in our language today. Support pupils by creating labels of information for pupils to sort and stick. You could partially complete the table to give pupils more time to complete the activity. You could reduce the number of words pupils need to research. And stretch pupils by asking them challenging questions such as, what similarities and differences are there between our words and numbers and ancient Greeks? To recap, this is the inquiry question for this unit. How did the Romans influence Britain? With the main disciplinary concept of cause and consequence, to understand the legacy of Romans in Britain in your local area. Support teachers implementing the inquiry question. We've created an inquiry question support document. Here you can find the information you will need and an additional activity for pupils to complete. This could support them as a planning activity, be a recap of the entire unit knowledge to refresh memories before the assessment, or be edited in the assessment itself. The inquiry question support document for this unit can be found with the other resources on Oxford OWL. The inquiry question can be answered in many different ways, for example, as an extended write, a poster, presentation, a question paper, multiple choice quiz, or whichever best suits your class. But take the time now before the unit begins to decide how you want this to look, and make sure you include your local history study in this inquiry question answer. For every unit, there are elements that will need to be planned in advance by the class teacher. You'll need to plan an engaging hook, print off any additional resources per lesson, and gather resources for specific lessons using the unit planning guidance. Hopefully, you now feel confident about accessing and teaching this unit. Any questions, please send to primarymastery@curriculumplus.org.uk, and we welcome all feedback to ensure that these resources are as supportive as possible for you and your pupils.